This is the comprehensive WooCommerce membership secrets. If you're trying to sell your products online or you would like to earn recurring income, setting up your very own membership site is crucial to your success. That said, one of the biggest problems is that many people don't know where to start. What membership script should you use? By using WordPress, you can make your site beautiful. But most of the plugins that integrate into it are not great looking or user-friendly. This 7-part video course is designed to show you exactly how you can quickly and easily brainstorm, plan, and set up your WordPress membership site. Topics covered: mapping out your membership site funnel, which WordPress membership plugin, access, install, and getting started creating a membership level, creating and pricing, testing. Enroll now and let us get started. Thank you.
In this video, we're going to introduce you to the online store e-commerce business model. And this training is called WP Online Store because we're going to show you step by step how to set up your very own e-commerce website where you're selling physical products just like Zappos.com or Amazon.com using WordPress. And so it's a very powerful software, as you know WordPress is, and you can actually use a tool called WooCommerce to turn it into an e-commerce store. So we're going to demonstrate this for you. On the right hand side here I have a couple of examples of e-commerce sites. This top one is called Judith Hobby Clothing. They sell apparel for women, and they actually are running their entire business off of WooCommerce. And then the bottom two examples, those are actually examples pulled straight from the WooCommerce website as well. So you can see how it looks, kind of their default version, and then some cool designs and things you can do with it if you look at the Judith hobby example. Now again, just so you know, you're not limited to selling clothing. It just so happens to be a popular item that people do buy and sell on the internet, but it is just so you can see an example of what this looks like. So the WooCommerce plugin, it turns your WordPress into an online store, and you can actually create a search engine friendly e-commerce storefront without having to be an expert at coding or anything like that. You also don't have to pay monthly fees like many popular e-commerce hosting solutions charge, like BigCommerce or Shopify, some of the big ones out there, Volusion, and those types of websites where they charge you a high monthly fee. With WordPress, you can get WooCommerce, which is free to install, and it allows you to leverage the power of WordPress. We know out of the box, by default, WordPress is already search engine friendly, so it's a great platform for you to build up an e-commerce store. The model that we're going to be talking about mainly is the drop shipping model, and that's where you can actually set up your store and get inventory for products without having to actually store the inventory at your home, in your garage, in your apartment, or in a big warehouse. You can actually sell products on the internet via drop shipping, meaning once somebody orders the product, then it gets shipped out to your customer. So the customer orders the product from your website, you keep the profits, and then you end up your outsourcer, or the person that you are sourcing the products from, the supplier that is actually doing the drop shipping for you, they would ship the item with your business name on the packaging. So for example, you buy an item for $50 and the cost of that item is $35. So your profit would be $15 on that item before processing fees. So that gives you an indication as to how this business model works. So you basically, you know what your cost is for the item, and you know kind of roughly what it will sell for, and you can do your own market research like Amazon and look at other websites online. And you don't want to just stick with Amazon for your research, because Amazon tends to lowball prices, and not everybody shops on Amazon, even though a lot of people do. Should not discourage you, because there's a pile of websites out there making a lot of money. So that's, in a nutshell, is kind of what the drop shipping business model is all about, though. Supplier then would actually ship the product for you after you contact them, and usually it's just a matter of a simple email to them. And once you really get going, there's more sophisticated ways to do it, where you could automate different software systems to automatically send an email once an order takes place. But if you're just starting out and building up your e-commerce store like in a weekend or in a very short time, then this is a good way to start out. You could just simply find a dropship supplier that will do drop shipping, do some research on them and the products they carry, and then you would just send an email to them every time an order is placed. You could also go through a fulfillment house, and that would be where you could purchase items in bulk. And that's kind of a riskier venture, though, especially if you're starting out. Drop shipping is probably the safest way. And a fulfillment house, though, does actually make it simple enough to where you don't actually have to be living in an area that's loaded with boxes. You don't have to have your garage filled with them, your apartment, a spare bedroom. You don't have to do the fulfillment and shipping on your own. You could actually find a company that you could ship the products to, so you could buy them in bulk from the manufacturer at a super low price, and then you could contact a company that would actually fulfill them for you. And buying inventory in bulk will actually make your cost even less, which means your profit per sale are much higher. But then again, you also have the risk of sitting on that inventory as well. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're starting out, I would not advise fulfillment right away. Another idea is you could just store the inventory in your house, but that's complicated, it's messy, and it takes more work because you're having to run to the post office all the time. And that's why we're going to kind of stick with the drop shipping business model for this, because this is meant for those of you that are starting out, want to start your own e-commerce store that you can sell and build up your own asset. So ways that you can process payments right away. PayPal is a great method, and then Stripe is another one. They actually accept credit cards. These are two of the quickest payment processors, and we're going to discuss those for setting up. But PayPal is a tremendous one again, and Stripe. Those are two payment processors that usually you can get up and running with in just a matter of minutes. And then you could also go with your own merchant account. So once you've really built up your business through PayPal or through Stripe, or actually accepting both payments, you could go ahead and contact a merchant account, so somebody that would actually process payments for you. That is what a merchant account is. So then after that, once your store is all set up, you have it loaded with products, you know what products you're going to carry, you've put in some unique descriptions, you've got images loaded up for the products, and you're ready to sell, it's time to get traffic to that. And we'll touch briefly on some of the more popular traffic methods. By default, as we build our site, it's going to be built to be search engine friendly, so it's optimized for the search engines. And then while you're doing this, every time you get more traffic and you get more sales, you are building up an online asset. And websites that are e-commerce based, they do tend to carry a good price tag on them. So this is a tremendous business model that you can pursue and be building a great asset for as well. In this video, I'm going to explain to you how to go about choosing a niche market. Before you set up your online store, you need to know what products you are going to start selling. So what niche do you want to go after? So one of the best places to go is to go to the leaders in e-commerce, and that's Amazon. And I would look through their categories to come up with some great ideas as to what kind of products people want, what kind of products you could be selling. So I would go over here to Amazon, and I would look under their categories here. So they've got everything: movie, music, and games. They've got electronics and computers, home and garden. So let's go here to home and garden, and then let's scroll on down. Notice they've got pet supplies, they've got kitchen, furniture and decor, appliances, and I'm going to just click on pet supplies here, and you can see here all the different types of products that they are carrying related to pets and animals. So if you go into a certain category that you're interested in, like let's say pets for example, you'll see up here at the top it's going to say best sellers. So what I'm going to do is just right click on that, and I'm just going to open that up in a new tab here. And this is going to show us the best sellers in pet supplies on Amazon. So you see here, this is a certain kind of cat litter. For whatever reason, this cat litter seems to be one of the most popular items on Amazon. This soft bedding here for other kind of animals seems to be a hot seller, and we want to look for items, you know, that we can sell. So we see like Fancy Feast and some other food items here. But let's scroll down and really get an idea as to what products people would be interested in. So here's a product that is a flea treatment item, and you can get some ideas again as to the types of products. You could even search by dog products that are the best sellers for dogs. Like here's a dog gate, and so we can get an idea here of the kinds of products. Like here's a cage. That would be something that you could potentially sell on your site. So Amazon is, again, it's done really well. So if you look under departments and then scroll through here, so home and garden or beauty and health. So if we went to like health and beauty here, the beauty and health department, and let's look up health, household, and baby care, we could find a whole nother list of items. So the baby care niche is obviously very, very big. So if we were to go up here and let's see, there's sports nutrition, vitamins and dietary supplements. We all know that supplement niche is huge. Sports nutrition, household supplies. Let's go on down here and let's find, let's see, baby items. There we go. So here's all baby and child care items. And inside this category, again, we could click on best sellers here and find the best selling items in baby care and get a really good idea. And then you could also narrow it down, baby and child care, and look like what items are the best items for baby and child care. Well, it looks like diapers. People seem to really like to buy diapers on Amazon. Here's a bendable teether, and there's some other items we can go on down here. It looks like diapers are predominant, so maybe that's something you could carry. If you could find a supplier that would carry diapers, that might be a way to go if you're into the baby niche market. We'll look up another category here, and so let's go to departments. Another big one, the home and garden market, kitchen and dining. You can see some products in there. So everything from bakeware. Notice there's like 179,000 items of bakeware on Amazon. And if I were to click on the bakeware category, these are the best sellers in bakeware. So you could see what kind of items people are interested in. So this is a great way to do some niche research, get some ideas for types of products that you would want to carry, so you can go out there and locate suppliers for them. Some other places to keep in mind or ideas for you, look at sites like Zappos, or look at websites that you frequent on the internet. What kind of items are you buying in offline businesses? So like if you go to a shopping mall, what kind of stores do you go to? Do you go to stores that sell sports apparel? Do you go to stores that sell shoes? And you could get some ideas there as well. So like companies like Zappos, obviously they're large because the shoe niche is huge. People love to buy shoes. They love to buy clothing. That's why sites like Teespring are so big, because people love apparel. Abercrombie, all those kind of high-end brands. And so I'm not saying you need to jump in and start selling apparel, but what I'm saying is look at stores that you shop at and then kind of go from there to determine if that's a niche you would want to sell products in. So let's say you have a dog or a cat and you find that you're always going to Petco. That would be a good indication that Petco may be a great store for you to consider looking for items. So go to Petco, you could look at the types of items they're selling. So selling pet supplies or pet products. There's a big business for selling pet products on the internet. Another one, like let's say you like to buy different makeups from Bare Minerals. They're one of the more popular ones, from Bare Essentials, and they have all kinds of makeup that you can get at malls. You can get it on their website. And so if you are somebody that buys makeup all the time, maybe buying makeup from a supplier and then reselling it on your website might be a niche for you to consider. The next suggestion here, like vitamins and supplements. If you find that you're going to local vitamin stores, this might be a great indication that you should pursue selling supplements. Another great idea, like sporting goods. If you're going to stores like Dick's Sporting Goods or very popular sports websites, then you could go in and sell those kind of products. Especially like here on Dick's Sporting Goods, if you look at Team Sports here, you could do an entire website just about baseball. So you could sell bats, gloves, you could sell products like that. Let's say you're passionate about soccer, or you're just interested in soccer. The game of lacrosse is huge. You could actually sell lacrosse equipment, lacrosse sticks, lacrosse helmets, lacrosse cleats, apparel, goals and training, youth lacrosse, all kinds of items that you could sell related to lacrosse. So let's go here, women's lacrosse sticks, and let's click on this. Notice you could sell these. There's probably a good margin in them. So you would want to see if you could become a supplier if that was a sport that interested you. And one other point I wanted to make is, just to kind of sum up what I was saying, is if you go to team sports here, baseball and softball, you can see this is a popular website out there in the baseball niche called Home Run Monkey, and they've actually carved out a niche. So they still do very well, especially when you consider that any of these items could be found on Amazon, more than likely. Not all of them, but in many cases they could be. Many of these items could be purchased at Dick's Sporting Goods, at Big Five Sporting Goods, at maybe Walmart or other places like that. But these guys have carved out a niche selling baseball products on their website. So you could also get into that, selling baseball and softball products. So whatever sport you're interested in, exercise, if there's certain types of items you're buying for exercising, you could find those here. Outdoor, they have everything. Like if you're big into fishing, then that could be something. So look at your hobbies, consider what stores you shop at, and then go from there for determining what products that you want to carry. So in the next video, we're going to go through a couple of these examples, and I'm going to show you how to go through the process of finding people that will drop ship, and so you can actually find suppliers so you can get your e-commerce store set up and ready to go. In this video, I'm going to show you the step-by-step process that I go through to find drop shippers that will actually ship my products for me so I don't have to obtain inventory. Dropshipping again is a great way to start out if you're starting into the e-commerce space. The reason is you don't have to have inventory, you don't have to take big risks until you know products are currently selling, and at that point you could work with your margins by buying more in bulk quantity so you can actually obtain more profit. But for starting out, it's great to get dropship arrangements in place. So the first thing you want to do is going out and look for the types of products you want to carry. So let's say that you've decided for this example that lacrosse is a certain niche market that you want to go after. So the game of lacrosse, it's a very popular sport that seems to be trending, and you decide you want to carry items like lacrosse sticks and the lacrosse, all kinds of different items, lacrosse equipment, lacrosse helmets, the lacrosse gear. So you decide that's what you want to carry on your website. So for example, let's go over here to Dick's Sporting Goods. And we notice they are selling what's called a De Beer Women's Spire Complete Lacrosse Stick. So De Beer is the maker of this product. So what I do, once I find out the manufacturer of a product, in this case it's called De Beer. There's also Under Armour, they actually make a lacrosse stick. Brine, they make a lacrosse stick. STX makes one as well. So you've got multiple options here, but we're just going to use De Beer as an example. And I come over here to Google and I put in the phrase De Beer lacrosse into Google, and I do a quick search on that, and up pops the De Beer lacrosse website. So when I land on their website, I find that these guys are the manufacturer, they're the creator of this kind of lacrosse equipment. So you can see what kind of items they carry. They carry more than just the lacrosse sticks too. They have the goggles, they sell the handles, they have stuff for the goalie, the bags, the uniforms. They sell all kinds of stuff for people in the game of lacrosse. So what you can do here is go on out to their Contact Us form, and you could actually reach out to them by sending them an email, giving a phone call, which might be one of the better ways to go, or sending a letter to them. Or you could also fill out a form on their website and explain who you are, explain that you are interested in selling their products on your website, and you wanted to know if they offer drop shipping. And the key thing to ask for too, most of the time, I would say 9 times out of 10, unless you get really lucky, the manufacturer, the main company that makes the products, is not going to be the company that would actually do the drop shipping for you, but they are a good place to start. So what you could do is contact them and say, along with that, if you do not offer drop shipping, do you have contacts with any wholesale distributors that I could get in touch with? And most of the time they will reply back with wholesale distributors. And a wholesale distributor is somebody that purchases from the supplier, so from the person that actually manufactures the products. A wholesale distributor will come in and buy in large bulk quantities, and then they will go out and then they will actually do the effort of selling the product into stores, or they will offer drop shipping services for people that want to sell through e-commerce channels. So the key thing is, if you can't get it straight from the manufacturer, then you need to find a wholesale supplier. And this is going to take some effort, because De Beer offhand, they may just say, no, we're not going to do this for you. So in that point, you go over to Brine and you contact them and see if they have somebody. Or you go to STX, this other company, and you contact STX and you say, hey, do you guys offer drop shipping arrangements for your lacrosse equipment? Or do you have a wholesale distributor that does? And another keyword you can do if you're looking in the lacrosse niche for overall products is just type in the phrase like your niche and wholesale distributors. Your niche, wholesale distributors. And so for this example, up pops this website called Laxzilla, which is a big distributor of lacrosse gear. And they seem to be one of the largest wholesale distributors since 1980. And so they would be somebody that you could contact and say, hey, you're interested in setting up an e-commerce store. Do they offer drop shipping arrangements? And they may or may not offer them right offhand. And you do have to do some hunting on certain products like this. Now, there are certain niche markets like lacrosse. It's not as big of a niche as maybe the pet niche. And so you can't simply go out to Google and just type in the phrase lacrosse drop shipping. But you could go out and let's say that you're in the pet niche. So you could say pet supply drop shipper. And so pet supply drop ship, there we go. And up will pop this company. Here's one called Majestic Pet right here, Majestic Pet, they offer drop shipping for their items, and you could go through their terms and conditions, see what kind of services they offer you overall, see if there's somebody that's been in the business for quite a while. Pet Stores USA is another very popular pet drop shipping solution for you to consider. They have been out there for quite a while. They actually explain the drop shipping process really well on their site. It's where you post a website on there, people buy, and you end up taking the profit is yours. And so that's Pet Stores USA. You could go here to Top Dog Supply. They actually carry a ton of different pet products, and you could contact them. And what these guys are, like Top Dog Pet Supply, Pet Stores USA, and I'm familiar with these companies, and basically what they do is they go out and they purchase in bulk from China, straight from the manufacturer. So they're getting very low rock bottom prices. Now the difference is they're going to warehouse all those items for you, and they're going to ship them to your customers. They have their shipping and fulfillment in place, so you don't have to worry about those things. You're not having stacks of products that may or may not sell, and they seem to carry the products that they know are going to sell the best. So that would be where I would approach them with. And you could just do that with pet supplies, so like pet supply drop shipping. Or if you're over here on Petco, let's say, and let's go over here to the dog niche. And when you're drop shipping items, you sometimes, depends on the product, but you may want to stay away from the real small margin products, like the ones that are only selling for $5 or $10, because your profit margin's just not going to be that good. So it's not going to be worth your time posting them. And so you really want to specialize too. So if you're going to go into the pet niche, you may want to just sell pet beds. And so it's one thing to say, I'm going to go into the pet niche and I want to sell all kinds of pet products. Or you say, I love sporting goods, so I'm going to sell all kinds of sports. And it really doesn't work that way, because you really need to niche yourself down. And so that means you want to be very niche specific. And so, like for example, this one, instead of just saying that they're going to be selling everything having to do with sporting goods, they decided just to sell baseball products. Or you could just sell lacrosse gear, lacrosse equipment. Or if you're going to go into the pet space, which is enormous, and then the dog supply space as well is even big, is just huge as well. And pets could go any direction, so you could sell just dog products, just cat products. You could specialize in pet beds, for example, and sell pet beds for dogs and cats and other animals as well. But if we come over here, let's look at under the dog category, let's look at the different dog beds. And here we're going to see some real popular ones. Obviously, Petco has their own brand name in there. They've actually got some private label pet beds that they branded with their name. And if I came over here, Brinkman, that seems to be an orthopedic dog bed brand. So I'm going to just copy that in there and just go over here to Google. And we're going to look up Brinkman. Let's say Brinkman pet bed. And there's their website, brinkmanpet.com. And what you can do is go to their website here, contact us, and you could get in touch with them by snail mail or by doing a phone call, which is most of the time ideal way to go when you're dealing with these manufacturers, is to pick up the phone and call them. You're going to get a direct answer that way and be able to get the help you need. And just let them know, hey, I'm looking for a wholesale distributor for your products. Could you point me in the right direction? And what they'll do is they'll look up in their system who some of their suppliers are. You could contact those different suppliers and see if they drop ship and if they do those kind of arrangements. Sometimes if you go about it this way, you're going to come across some really cool resources, and it's going to be, even though it's a little more labor intensive, you're going to be carrying products that maybe not everybody else is carrying, all the other small players. Because a lot of the small players, they may go to a store like Pet Stores USA that carries all kinds of pet products, and they're just going to list all those products. But if you find a product you really like, you could do some legwork this way. And it's really a matter of just putting in some effort and going through the channels. So what I do is I research the products that I want to carry. I find out the brand name. I contact the manufacturer, see if they do drop shipping. Most of the time they don't. If they do not, I find out if they have a wholesale distributor or supplier that I could get in touch with. And it is kind of labor intensive, but it's well worth the effort, and it's a great way to go. So we'll do this one more time. One more example here. We're going to look up, let's go back here to Google, and let's type in makeup dropshippers. So this one, the bornprettystore.com, looks like they actually have a drop shipping page, and they actually offer drop shipping for their various items as well. So you can see the types of products that they carry. You could look up makeup and beauty, jewelry and accessories. And let's look up eye makeup, for example. So these are different products that this site is actually carrying, and they do offer drop shipping to some extent. So this may be one, if you research it, that you could find out that they do offer a good service and it's products that you could sell on your site. And again, if there are certain kinds of makeups or types of products that you want to find, then what you could do is go through the channels of contacting the suppliers, manufacture those, and seeing if they offer some sort of a drop ship arrangement so that you can send it out. And we could do the same thing like vitamins and supplements. Vitamins and supplements. So here's one that's called VitaBase. They actually offer a drop ship program for their products as well. So they actually offer a drop shipping arrangement for all your products. They have a website, VitaBase, very large company in the supplement niche. One other thing for you to just to keep in mind here, another source you can go to, this site is called dropshipcritic.com. They do a really good job of actually reviewing and laying out some of the top drop shipping and wholesale supply sources out there. And one of the best ones that they do a good job reviewing is called Worldwide Brands. And Worldwide Brands has been around since 1999, and they've got a very good Better Business Bureau ranking. I've personally used them. They have one of the best sources you can find on the internet for drop shippers. And so if you're having a hard time finding drop ship suppliers, you should definitely look into Worldwide Brands. And this site, Dropship Critic, will actually does a really good job of comparing like Doba, which is a popular drop ship solution, to Worldwide Brands, compares Doba to Shopster, Salehu versus Worldwide Brands. So you can kind of determine which one is the best one to go, and they offer really good unbiased reviews for you to check out. And so again, Worldwide Brands is one that I have used personally. I think it's a great service that they offer. They actually give you real drop shippers, and so this is kind of another last ditch effort if you can't find suppliers going through these other methods that I showed you. So getting your suppliers in place and making sure that you can actually make a margin, that's really important. And before you really go gung-ho, once you find a drop shipper, it's good to pick out some of their products. You don't need to sell them all, but pick out some of their products and then put them into Google and kind of get a rough idea on the pricing. You could look on Amazon to see what they're selling for. And again, Amazon, if Amazon's going to be cheaper, that's completely fine. That happens. It's very hard to compete with Amazon, but you also want to make sure that it's not found cheaper on every other website on the internet. So you do want to do your due diligence once you find a drop shipper, but Worldwide Brands will make your life a lot easier when looking for those drop ship suppliers. In this video, I'm going to show you step by step how to install WordPress. Now, I am actually hosting my website business through HostGator. So what I'm going to do is use a feature they have called Quick Install. So I'm going to go into the back end of my HostGator account, and I'm going to scroll down inside the cPanel and look for something called Quick Install. It used to be Fantastico Deluxe, but they're phasing that out. So I'm going to look for Quick Install. If you're using a host called Bluehost, you could use a tool called Simple Scripts as well. So first we're going to click on the Quick Install, and what I'm going to do is scroll on down here to the bottom, to the left-hand corner here where it says Blog Software, and I'll click on WordPress. Next thing I'll do is click on Continue, and then I'm going to choose which domain I want to install this on. So I've selected a domain after I've came up with the products that I want to carry. I put together a domain name, and you could go out to GoDaddy to find a great domain for your business. So I'm going to go here and type in uniforms jerseys. That's the domain I'm going to go with, and then we're just going to plug in some basic information here. So we'll just plug that in. And we're going to say we're just going to sell uniforms and jerseys just as an example. So admin area, we'll just call it admin. First name John, last name Smith. And then go ahead and click on Install Now. So what's going to happen here is while we're installing, notice it's telling me we're at 1% done, and then it quickly gets going. And the reason I call these a quick install is because it truly is a quick installation. So what I'm going to do next is just copy this password that they provide me, and then I'm going to go over here to open it up by just simply clicking down here, uniformsandjerseys.com, so your domain /WP-admin. We're going to plug that in there, and it should log us right in. All right, perfect. So once we're logged in to our WordPress dashboard, we're ready to go to start activating our website and get it set up so that we can start setting up our e-commerce store on WordPress. So you notice it was just as simple as that. Now, if you're somebody that does not want to go through the process of doing the quick install and you want to do it by hand, you can go on out here to wordpress.org and I'll show you the beginning of the phase of installing it by yourself manually. So go to wordpress.org, click on Download WordPress in the top right. Right click over here, choose Save Link As. This will download WordPress onto your computer as a zip archive. And then you can follow where it says What's Next. After you download it, follow here where it says What's Next. And they've created a handy guide for you, as they call it. And you're going to look for the famous 5-minute installation. And I found that under the guide of installing WordPress. And I just looked on the second option here, or you could scroll on down to where it says famous 5-minute install, and they actually have it all listed out, the detailed instructions on how to install WordPress by yourself, and it's all updated. That's if you don't want to use the quick install method, which is what we use and prefer because it is quick, it is simple, and it is easy. And if you do get stuck on the 5-minute install, they have more detailed instructions. This is only if you want to do it manually. Again, if you installed your WordPress using this method, using the quick install method, you do not need to do it manually. This is the best way to do it. If you're brand new, it's the quickest way, most efficient way to get your site up. So at this point, we actually have our website live. If I were to go here in the browser, and there's my URL, uniformsjerseys.com, you'll notice that my website is active. So I'm actually ready to go. In the next video, we'll work on setting up our WordPress site. Then we're going to go through the process of installing WooCommerce and setting it up. In this video, we are going to configure our WordPress website so it's ready to install WooCommerce on it. So first, there's a couple of plugins that we want to install. So I'm going to go over here in the dashboard, and I'm going to scroll to the bottom here and click on Plugins. And what I'm going to do is find, like, for example, the first plugin I want to deactivate. This one's called the Mojo Marketplace. So we can just simply deactivate that one. If you use the quick install method, that one shows up in there. And the next thing we want to do is go on over here and actually install another plugin called Google XML Sitemaps. So what you want to do is up here at the top where it says Plugins, click on Add New, and do a quick search for those plugins. So Google XML Sitemap. All right, and you are going to look for this one here that has 15 million downloads. It's one of the largest ones out there. All you need to do is simply click on it's the Google XML Sitemaps by Arnie Brockhold, and you just want to choose Install Now. And then click Activate Plugin. And that plugin should be activated. So now we're going to add one more plugin, and this plugin is a search engine optimization plugin called the Yoast SEO plugin. So I'm just going to type in Yoast SEO. WordPress SEO by Yoast, and this one has 13 million downloads. So we're going to choose Install Now. And then go ahead and click on Activate Plugin. And there you have it. So those two plugins are now set up. The next thing you want to do after installing those is go down to your dashboard and click on Updates and make sure there is no other no other updates that need to be made at this point, and there aren't. So you can come on over here to where it says Theme. And this is where you can pick which theme you want to work with. This is the latest 2014 theme. They have the 2013 out here, the 2012 theme, and you could actually pick a different theme. We're going to go with the 2012 because that one seems to work a little bit smoother with what we're trying to do at the moment. And it's just a little cleaner look and feel to it. So I just went ahead and activated that. You don't have to. You could basically do your theme later, pick another theme. The next thing we're going to change after we're working in the appearance over there is go over to Settings. And where it says WordPress address URL, I'm going to simply copy and paste that over here. So where it says WordPress address URL, I'm going to click on www.uniformsandjerseys and put that at the beginning. So that way your URL to the search engines is going to be consistent as www.yourdomain.com, and I feel that's extremely important to do that. Under tagline, you could say, something catchy, your one-stop shop for sports uniforms and jerseys. And again, so what I did here under site address, I added www dot right after the HTTP. Then I'm going to click on Save Changes, and it will probably make me log back in, as it does. So we're going to go back over here, grab our password, and it's important that you save your password as well, and they will also email it to you. So we're just going to log back in there. And now we're in a position where we're ready to go through the process of getting our website set up and ready to go. So once we've gone through this part of things and configuring WordPress, we're able to go out and install WooCommerce, which we'll cover that in a separate video. But before we do that, let's go over here to the SEO plugin and click on the dashboard there, because this is very important. Allow tracking of this WordPress install. You could decide if you want to do that or not, but we're going to go through the basic details here. If you are working with Google Webmaster Tools, you could plug in that data here, and same with Bing Webmaster Tools, which will tell people what kind of information to pull from your site. Titles and meta description, you can choose what your title separator is. So I usually go with just a simple dash here, so we're just going to stick with that. And then these other items, you're not going to want to do too much. Most of the time, the settings they have out of the box are the best settings for you to work with. So you could add your Facebook page URL back here, add in your social elements as well, because search engines do look for that. And you can kind of familiarize yourself with the Yoast SEO plugin and how it works. Another thing that I would change, and it's a good thing I went through this, is the permalink structure. That's something that is very important. So what I would do is actually come up here under Settings, and we're going to click on Permalinks. And Yoast does a good job of kind of making sure you're monetized correctly. And you want to select post name. So that means your URL is going to be yourdomain.com / whatever the post name is, and just click on Save there. So Yoast will walk you through the last few elements of your SEO, of getting things done the right way. And you'll see Yoast in action more or less when you're actually editing a specific blog post. So when we're at the bottom here, it'll say WordPress SEO by Yoast. You're going to put in what your focus keyword is, your SEO title tag, your meta description, and how you want it to display and show up. And they do a really good job of helping you throughout the process of your SEO campaign. And so that's why the Yoast tool's there. It's going to help your website be even more search engine friendly than WordPress is. So in the next video, we're going to go in and install WooCommerce. And then after that, we're going to start going through the WooCommerce settings, setting up our payment option, and we'll go in that direction. In this video, we're going to convert this simple basic WordPress installation that we have into an e-commerce shopping cart. So what you need to do is go into the dashboard of your WordPress site, and at this point you obviously should have picked which niche you want to go after, what products you want to cover, you have your domain picked out, you have this all hosted, and at this point in the process we should have configured our WordPress with the plugins and with the right settings and making WordPress out of the box ready to go. So we're ready to install WooCommerce. So what you need to do, again, go to your dashboard, and I'm going to click on dashboard down here and go over to plugins on the left hand side. So I'm going to choose plugins, and I want to go up here to add new, and simply click on that. You could also access the add new from down here on the left hand side as well. Where it says search plugins, just like when we looked for the Yoast SEO plugin or the other Google XML sitemap plugin, you do the same thing here. So we're going to do a quick search for this particular plugin. So we're going to call this WooCommerce. WooCommerce, that's the plugin we want. And you want to look for this one with over 5 million downloads. And it is put out by Woo Themes. That is the creator of this. Woo Themes actually does cool looking WordPress themes and those types of items, and so that's what Woo Themes does, and so they're actually the ones that put out WooCommerce. So you know you're on the right one when you see Woo Themes right there. So what you want to do is come down here, click on the Install Now button, Install Now on the right hand side, or if you would also like, you could click Install right here. And it's going to ask if you want to install that plugin. It's going to take it just a moment. It's a pretty large plugin, and you just need to choose Activate Plugin, and we'll let that do its thing. And so now on the left hand side here we see a tab open up that says WooCommerce. So now it's going to take us through steps to getting this site set up the right way. So that's how you install the WooCommerce plugin. And now what I'm going to do is take you through the process of getting your WooCommerce site set up from start to finish. In this video, we're going to finish installing WooCommerce. So after you've installed WooCommerce, it's going to bring up a window in your plugins dashboard which says Install WooCommerce Pages. So we're going to go ahead and click on Install WooCommerce Pages, and that will take just a moment here. All right, so this is it. Thank you. You're all done. And it tells you that WooCommerce 2.2 is fully installed and ready to go. So now we need to integrate this plugin. So I'm going to go over here to Plugins, and we're just going to make sure that it is active, and it is active. So on the left hand side here, we want to go over here to where it says WooCommerce, and it's going to take you in. You could actually see your orders. You can see, orders that customers are making if you do have any, and your site is basically ready to go. But now you need to actually install plugins. We need to integrate with WooCommerce, and so we need to go here to where it says WooCommerce Settings. We need to go to the WooCommerce Settings. So under the settings here, this is where we're going to do a lot of our changes to our store. And so right here we have general options. So we're going to say, wherever your store is located, you could actually put that in here. So we're going to go down here and say Washington State, and let's say you're located in the state of Washington. So United States, and then pick your state, Washington, and then sell to other countries. You could choose yes or no, or you could say specific countries that you will only sell to, or sell to specific countries only. So let's say you have products that you don't want to ship overseas, which can sometimes cause a problem with drop shipping. So you could say I'm only going to ship to the United States and also to Canada, let's say. And the next thing is, let's scroll on down here, your currency, that's going to be American US dollars. So make sure that it's set to that, or make sure it's set up to the right currency that you are using. The next thing is right with the space. Let's see. There it is. And then the thousand separator, if you're selling items in the thousand, it should be a comma. Decimal separator, a period, number of decibels, or decimals 2. That's what most people do. Front end styles, you could keep that as is for now. And enable the light box, that's a good tool to keep. So we're just going to go save changes right there and just go right on down the list. So now we're going to go over here to where it says products, and we're going to choose our product page. And then we'll go on down here, see what other kind of options they're giving us. Product data in weight, it should be put out in pounds, typically inches for the dimensions. And Woo Themes is pretty much based out of the UK area. That's why you're going to have to change some of these settings. Enable ratings on your product reviews. Ratings are required to leave a review. So you can choose how you want to set up product ratings. Usually the verified listings are just fine. So that's important. Let's see. Catalog images, you can pick the sizing. And I would typically just stick with their defaults there. And then after I make any changes, I just do save changes. The next setting that we're going to make involves taxes. So enable taxes and tax calculators. That's important. All right. Price entered with tax. It's important because it's going to see how you input items. So yes, I will enter prices that include tax, or no, I will enter prices that do not include tax. Usually this is the best way to go because it depends on your state and how they calculate laws. But most of the time, if for example, if you're selling in the state of Washington, the only time somebody that I would have to pay taxes on my e-commerce stores if somebody from the state of Washington purchased. If somebody from the state of Colorado or California purchased, I wouldn't have to pay, I would not have to accept income tax on that. Calculate the tax based on the customer's shipping address, and that's how you should set it up. Okay, and then we'll scroll on down here. And then you can go to your standard rates and insert where you're getting taxes from. So you're going to insert a country code. And then your state code. And then your zip and postal code. And then put in the percentage that your tax is. So your tax would be, you need to look up with your Secretary of State if you're selling in the United States, or if you're selling overseas, look up what their tax rate is as well and call it that. Okay, Washington State sales tax, and click on Save Changes. Perfect. So there you have that set up now based on their zip code. And if you leave this area blank, so I'm actually going to leave my postal code blank, it's going to apply to all zip codes and all postal codes. So that's one thing I wanted to point out. As you're setting up any of these things, always read these question marks here because it's often that these sites will change how they do things. So start with your country code, then go to your state code. And the best thing to do is to go by the specific. Keep the zip code blank, keep the city blank, and then set your state tax rate. And then each county, though, in some instances within your state, they do require different tax rates and things of that nature. So what you can do is at the end of the year, at the end of a month, you could go in and you could calculate out what those are that you owe those specific cities, because 9 times out of 10 there's 49 other states they're going to purchase from. You're going to have very few people in your state that end up purchasing. Now as your business increases, this is something that you could go back and you could go add in special tax codes for specific cities that buy often for you, and you could actually put in the effort to really go that direction. I wouldn't do this to start out with, to be honest. It's important that you do get the taxes right, but make sure you're accepting tax for the entire state. And then as an order comes in, then you could divvy up the tax to the certain counties based on the percentage. Usually it's a very small percent. But again, my advice here is just so you don't get caught up in this, because there's literally hundreds and hundreds of special tax codes within each state, and it could be something that just discourages you. And we want you to get this up and going as soon as possible. So we're going to click on Save Changes here. We do have our tax rate set for the state of Washington, which is where this business would be ran from. And we're going to choose our checkout process. Enable the use of coupons. That's not a bad thing. Enable guest checkout. It allows the customer to check out without creating an account. You could force HTTPS, which is a secure protocol, which means they would have to be taken to a secure server. You would need an SSL certificate in order to do this method, and I would advise that. In order to get an SSL certificate, you could go to GoDaddy, you could call your web host. Most of the time your web host like HostGator, they will provide those as well for you. And let's see, so we're going to set up a cart page, a checkout page. Terms and conditions, you actually need to have a page set up here. So you could just go here to add new page, and that's where you would put in a terms and conditions page so people know kind of what your terms are for ordering. And the next thing is the gateway for how you're going to accept payments. So you would come over here and click on PayPal and then choose Save Changes. And then once you've selected your payment method, you can click on Settings over here. Pay via PayPal, put in your PayPal email. And then you could go down here, click on Save Changes. And now you're basically set up. You're set up to accept PayPal payments. One other payment provider I do want to let you know about that's very popular and it's easy to set up and it's a great way to take credit cards. And this is as an alternative to PayPal if you want to offer multiple payment options. And that's Stripe. You can actually go over here to stripe.com. Sign up for an account. There's very little review process. You just put in your email, you put in your address here, your email and a password, excuse me, and then you go through the process of setting up your account to direct deposit payments right on into your account. Stripe is a great way to accept credit cards, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, and it's very minimal charges. Just like every other credit card processor, there is a charge involved, a small charge with it, but there's no monthly fees, no crazy things that you need to set up. Stripe.com is a valuable service, especially for new merchants, and you're literally approved within a matter of seconds. And so you could be up and selling in a very short amount of time here. So I would definitely consider setting up Stripe.com, especially if you don't want to accept PayPal or if you can't use PayPal. You could use this as another option. If you are going to go with Stripe, though, you do need to go out here and get Stripe for WooCommerce. And it's actually another plugin that you need, and it does cost $79. So if you do not want to pay for that, that's completely understandable. One thing you could do is run with PayPal until you generate that revenue. If PayPal is something that won't work for you, or you can't use even a family member's PayPal, then you may want to look at actually getting Stripe so you can install it and use it across the board on your WooCommerce, your e-commerce websites. Stripe, again, very valuable service. You do need to have an SSL certificate in place because you are processing people's credit card information across the web. But it's a powerful way to go. I would recommend PayPal and Stripe. You could do those together or just pick one. And the reason I would recommend starting here is because with a regular merchant account, it takes several days to get approval. It may take a week. They may do background checks, credit checks, all kinds of things, cross checks on your business. It's going to be a hassle for you when you're first starting out. And the whole point of this video is to get you your own e-commerce site set up in a matter of a weekend time or less. And so with Stripe and PayPal, you have that ability to get an e-commerce site set up quickly. So we'll go on over here to shipping, and we're going to set up our shipping accounts. So you want to enable shipping calculators, enable it on the cart page, and there's a couple different options you could choose. So you could select free shipping as an option that you carry, flat rate shipping, or you could go with, the different ones that you want to choose. So like there's flat rate shipping, and so you would just go here to settings and actually pick, how much are you going to charge per item that you ship out. And this is kind of data you're going to find out once you establish a drop shipping arrangement. They're going to tell you how much it is to process an order, how much it is roughly to ship an item, and you're actually going to know these things. And so a quick little tip for you is to go out to ups.com. That's going to be your friend as you're calculating shipping ideas, especially as you're putting in products. So you want to pick your location first here on ups.com. And as you input items, it's going to ask you, it's going to tell you the weight, maybe the dimensions of the products, especially if you have a good supplier that you're purchasing from that has a good drop ship arrangement. And so what you want to do is go out here to shipping and choose create a shipment. This is just to get an idea as to the ultimate price point. And let's say, where's your shipment going? So we could say test company. And let's set a city. And what I like to do is pick the furthest city I can, away from where my drop shipper is shipping from. So let's say they're shipping in like St. Louis, and I'm going to go to like Miami, Florida, which is, in Florida, and it's pretty far away. Or we'll go we could go Augusta, Maine, let's say. See if that shows up. Maybe not. So let's just choose a different city. Let's just say Miami here. Miami, and then we'll go Florida. And I need to look up the Miami, Florida zip code now. (33101). and then put in their address, 1234 Hartford Lane. You could just make one up here. Okay, and then put in your shipping details. So figure out how many packages, the declared weight of the package, and then what the shipping details are for this package. And that's going to give you an idea as to the pricing for your product. So it's going to give you some ideas once you fill in all this information. So you kind of have a rough idea. You can go out here to UPS, use their tool, and really help you determine what the actual shipping rate is going to be going to that far off location. So then you have an idea later on as to what to charge on your website as you're going through the WooCommerce setup. So again, go on through here under accounts. This is where you have your My Account page. These are all pages that WooCommerce installs for you. That's why it's important to have those. The from name is going to be your business name, so you could change that if you want it to be. So we'll say uniformsjerseys.com. And you could change your email here. It's going to pull from the default that you use to set up your account. So if it's something that you want to be different, I would definitely advise changing that on there. The next thing you want to do, it's going to say system status. It's going to tell you, let's see here, your WP memory limit, 40 megabytes. We recommend setting a memory to at least 64. So you could go on in here and follow the instructions there, or contact your web host company and say, hey, I need to increase my memory on my WordPress site. And so that's a really cool service that WooCommerce offers, or a cool little information under settings here, is they'll actually tell you things like your system status and those types of items. So at this point, our WooCommerce site is set up, and let's go over here and take a look at our website. And you can also come on over here to pages. You'll notice you have a cart page, a checkout page, a My Account page, a sample page, and a shop page as well, already set up in our navigation here. So if I click on shop, you'll notice that there's no products found yet because we haven't started adding items at this point. But we're going to do that in the next video. We're going to start adding products to our e-commerce store, and then we'll take it from there as we go down the process of installing, setting up our first e-commerce site on WooCommerce. In this video, I'm going to show you how to add products to your e-commerce store. So what we need to do is go on out to look at some competitor websites in the niche market that we're targeting, and we want to look and see how they have their products categorized, because the first thing you want to do is you want to have proper categories in place so you can easily slide your products into those categories. So what I'm going to do here first is I'm going to look at petsupplies.com, or as it's more known as 1-800-PET-SUPPLIES. And we're going to pretend that we're selling dog beds. So I'm going to see how they've categorized their dog beds. So they've actually categorized them as cooling beds, crate pads, heated dog beds. So that's what we're going to go with here. So I'm going to come over to this website, and I'm going to click under products. I'm going to choose categories, and I will select a new category name, and I'm going to just call this one, let's call it cooling beds. And the slug is the URL friendly version of the name. It's usually going to be like all lowercase. So for example, it would be cooling-beds. Cooling dash, let's say dog beds. And description, make sure your pet stays comfortable during the hottest times of the year. And then you could upload an image for this category. So I'm going to go here to on my computer where I've actually saved some images from my supplier here, my pretend supplier. And I'm just going to choose use this image. This is an example of a cooling pet bed. Now you could spend some time creating some really nice looking images here if you would like, and I would advise doing that down the road. But for now, we're just going to go for basic here. So the other kind of bed that we're going to have is the heated bed. So we're going to come over here and we'll call this heated dog beds. And first let me edit the cooling beds, because we're going to call it cooling dog beds. Cooling dog beds. Click on update. And notice how easy it is to work with this store here. So we're going to call this cooling dog beds, and then the other one here is heated dog beds, and then our slug is going to be heated dog beds. And you could also just call it heated if you wanted to. That's going to depend on how you want it to end up looking when it's all done. Now you could come up with a much better description here, but for now that's what we're going to go with. And we're going to just choose upload a file, and we'll just pick this item here, upload that, click on use image, and add new product categories. Now we've got 2 product categories, so we can start adding a product. So I'm going to go over here under products on the left hand side, and I'm simply going to select add a product. So what I'm going to do is go over to my supplier here. When you get a supplier, they're either going to send you your information through a web interface so you can actually log in. That's the preferred method. I love that way because it's super easy to get access to all the products up to date. Sometimes they'll send you like an Excel spreadsheet where it lists out all the product info. Sometimes it's a PDF that you have to copy and paste from, or a Word document. It just depends on how they go through the process. So this one here, this is Pet Stores USA, and we're just going to use this as an example. So I'm going to come right on over here, and I'm going to plug this item in. So Acoma dog products, hound cooler dog bed. And I'll go down here, borrow their description. One thing I want to keep in mind when it comes to actually writing your descriptions, it's one thing to just copy and paste straight from the manufacturer, which is what I'm doing here. But if you really want to set yourself up for long-term success, I would advise after you've added these descriptions, or even before you add a pile of products, go in and rewrite these, or pay somebody on Fiverr to rewrite your descriptions so they're 100% unique. And so they are product descriptions that's going to be unique to the search engines, which will help you get long-term traffic from the various search engines like Bing and Yahoo. So I'm going to paste in my information. All right. So then it's got the features listed in there. And the next thing is we've got our title tag. All right. And we're going to call this Acoma cooling dog bed. And then we'll call the model number up here. So it's HC1001. I like to put model numbers in because people do search for products by model number. So we're going to put in our meta description here. And our meta description is really important for search engine traffic as well. So you want to have a good title tag and a good meta description. So keep your dog cool in the hot months with the Acoma cooling dog bed. This innovative bed is sure to bring a smile to your dog's face. All right, so the meta description is what would show up below the listing in the search engines, and you want to have a good meta description there, and you could spend some more time to make it look good. And you'll notice as I did this, this is your snippet preview, and this is what's going to come up here. You'll notice that this is how it's going to look in the search engine. So it's got your URL right there. Now again, my URL has nothing to do with pet beds. I'm just using that as an example website here. But let's put in our keyword as Acoma, or let's say cooling dog bed. That's our feature keyword there. And they're actually going to tell me if I've done a good job using this or not. Notice it's not in my article heading. So that's where I should go in here and I should fix it. Cooling dog bed. And let's make that bold. And I come over here to the text, and we could actually make that what's called an H1 tag. So I'm going to go H1, and that's the heading tag. And then you can go in, is it in the page URL? They'll actually tell you all these things within within the Yoast plugins. They do a good job of making sure your listings are optimized as well. The next thing is you've got a SKU number here. The SKU is what is a reference code for your product. What I like to do is take this code that my supplier gives me for that product. So this particular product is called the HC-101, so that's what my SKU becomes. I like to set a regular, and sometimes you could set a sale price. So you could say the regular price on this bed, let's just say, is $59.99, and the sale price is going to be $49.99. And it really depends on what the actual price is going to be. And so that's something to keep in mind. What is the cost for you to get this bed from your supplier? And then you can determine what your markup's going to be from there. So next thing is we go into inventory. Again, if it's drop shipping, you don't need to worry about inventory management right now. Shipping, this one's important because it's going to tell you the shipping weight down here, and it'll tell you all the information for UPS. Most good products you are actually getting a price quote from, and drop shipping companies will do this for you. They're going to include everything like your shipping weight, and so you know that this item is 4.2 pounds, and it's going to tell you the length and the width for that particular item. So the length is 15 by 12 by 10. So 15 inches by 12 by 10. And then you could choose a shipping class if you had those set up there. And then you could say linked products. So this is a good idea if you want to have like upsells and cross sells, and it's also a really good strategy for getting people to consider other beds as well. Product attributes, that would be if you've added in like certain colors, or in this case this item does not have colors or size restrictions, but if you had a small, medium, and large bed, you could throw that in there as well. Purchase note. So you could put in a special note to the customer after they purchase this product if you wanted to. And then you could again choose enable reviews. This is all under advanced. And the next thing you want to do is throw in a quick short product description. So for that, you could take maybe the first sentence and plug that in there. And now we're ready to go up here at the top left corner. I'm going to choose all product categories. This is going to go under cooling dog beds, and we'll do some keyword tags. And then dog beds, separate them by commas. That'll click add. Now we're going to click on publish. And we'll edit our page there. Notice that they tell us up here that the SEO is okay to go as well. That's another powerful feature of Yoast. And so now if we came over to our website here and I clicked on the shop feature, we would have our product showing up here on the website. So the last thing I need to do to really clean this up is I need to add in some like additional information on the product. This tells you like the weight, dimensions. If there is additional information, you could throw it down there as well. Another thing to keep in mind is, let's say we want to get our image on there, and that's one thing we forgot to do. So we'll go over here and we're going to add in our image. So up here we'll choose add media, and we're going to pick that bed, insert picture there, and then you could also add an image here into this short part as well. So to add in our image here, we would go up to the add media section. That would actually be if you want to insert an image into the actual post, but we want to actually make sure our image is going to show up here. So to do that, you're going to come down on the right hand side where it says product gallery, And this is where you could put in multiple pictures for a product if you had them. And sometimes that's a good thing to offer if you do have that available to you. So you could have multiple different images and different views of the product. And then the next thing is you want to set a featured image, and this is all under the media library, or if you haven't uploaded the image yet, you could just click on upload that. So go upload, select the file, upload it straight from your computer. But we already have it uploaded, so I'm just going to choose set product featured image. Now I'm going to click on update. Once that page updates, we're going to come back to the website here, and we're going to refresh this page, and our image should show up here. There it is. So now we've got our image showing up, and it's got a little sale feature there. It's got the add to cart button working, and we are ready to rock and roll. We've got our e-commerce site set up, and now it's time to go in, and you could tweak the sidebar here inside of your WordPress dashboard just to kind of make it more of a e-commerce friendly type feel to it. But that is how you add products to your website. So if you go over here to shop, it's going to bring up under the shop the single product that you've got in store, or you could go out to your category here, the cooling dog beds category, and it's got the same product right there that you're carrying. So that's how you add a product here to your store. The next thing is just to keep in mind, if you go to appearance and widgets, this is where we can actually play around with removing certain features. So you could keep the search box there. The recent post option, you could actually delete that, or you could keep it if you wanted to have like recent blog posts related to the niche market you're promoting. But if you don't want it showing up on your store, you could remove that. Archives, categories you could keep there, and then if we go back to our site here, it should update itself on the right hand side, and it does. So we're good to go there. If we want to add in like additional pictures or images like our phone number, you could actually just drag a text-based widget here, and you could copy and paste in your HTML code. Like I would recommend maybe a newsletter opt-in form here where you're capturing people's names and email. That would do really well in this section. So that's how you add a product, that's how you add categories, and this is how you really get started. So then at this point, just a matter of adding more products, cleaning up your website. You could go out to woothemes.com, maybe find a different, better theme that's going to suit your website even better, and that way you've got even cleaner look. And this is just using more of a generic WordPress theme that we offer. But as you can see, it lays out pretty nice. It lays out very clean. It's simple. But if you really want to stand out from the crowd, you could go out there and invest in a great theme from Woo Themes as well to get a nice looking theme. In this video, I want to explain to you some of the better traffic methods for an e-commerce store. So the first one is a method that you already have put in place, which is search engine optimization. And that's by installing the Yoast plugin, by using good keyword-rich title tags, good categorization of your products, unique product descriptions, getting backlinks, having a blog on your website where you have really good valuable content that you give away, and then you offer a shop that people can go to. So those are all really good strategies for getting long-term traffic going into your business. And so the other couple ways to go besides search engine optimization is to go the paid traffic route. And Google offers a great service called Google Merchant. It's a google.com/merchants, and it's actually a great way that you can actually upload your products into a data feed, which is very simple to use. They actually let you copy and paste in, and they give you templates on their website here. And so if you just go to Google Merchant Center and look up the help feature here, it should take you right on in there to where you can get some ideas as to how to get started, how to create your first product feed. So here is the XML format that they're looking for. And you can click through here, and it'll actually explain to you how they want you to list out your products. And you could actually find plugins that would integrate with the Google Merchant Center, but it's a great system for you to leverage because it gives you traffic on Google Shopping. So if I go over here to google.com/products, and it used to be called Google Shopping, google.com/products. It's a product search engine. So people that are very interested in items, they're going to go over here. So if I were to type in like cooling pet bed, it's going to bring up a list of beds like cooling pet beds that I could or that I could purchase potentially, and it gives me a list of I could get this item from 50 plus different stores, and then it allows me to compare prices from over 50 stores. And google.com/products, also known as Google Shopping, is a tremendous way for you to also understand how your market is pricing certain items, so you understand kind of where you want to be. You don't necessarily need to be the cheapest option. Obviously, you want to be making a profit, or else there's no point in you being in business here. So you do want to take a look at that. And they're actually also going to pull up, what items are the best based on their shipping location. And so you could really integrate with Google Merchant. It's a great way to go. And it does cost, it's a cost per click basis. And the other thing, it's similar to AdWords. So you do need to have an AdWords account set up. But basically, they would pull up those products based on what people searched for. And people on Google products are very active people. They're very willing to invest in, the product after they've done a good search on it. So that's one other strategy. Google AdWords is another one. Bing Ads is another one. You can go to the Bing Ad Center, and so you could run targeted advertising where you're targeting keywords like cooling pet beds and send them to your cooling pet beds category page, or put in a certain brand name of pet bed. And as long as you're able to bid on that keyword, you could send traffic there as well. Leveraging YouTube is another great idea. So you could do product reviews. And so if I went to YouTube right now and looked up cooling pet beds, let's see, cooling pet beds. And let's see here. So you'll notice some of these are more like, just how-to videos. But what you could do is actually come in here and do a video review of a product. So you could find a product that's selling well, and you could do a video review of it. You could use a screen capture software doing a review of the product on your website, maybe insert different pictures of it, or do a PowerPoint style video where you talk about the benefits of having a cooling pet bed and a pet bed that cools. And then you could actually integrate those into your listing. So actually on your product description, you could embed that video here as well, which will enhance your listings, but also enhance the amount of traffic that you could be obtaining. And so these are just some of the more basic methods, but it's leveraging, blogging, SEO, Google Merchant Center is a great way to get traffic, doing Google AdWords, Bing ads, and then doing video reviews on putting them onto YouTube, and then also embedding those individual reviews for each of your products onto your actual website. That's going to really enhance the chance that people find you and purchase from you and get to know you and trust you. In this last video, I want to show you the day-to-day operations, which are very simple once you have everything set up. And at this point, the day-to-day operations would also be adding new products, cleaning up your design, doing marketing videos, doing SEO work, doing content for your blog, doing anything you can do to get traffic going to it. Because when you're brand new, it's going to take some effort. You're going to need to possibly get some paid advertising going, try Facebook ads, get social media working in your favor, do all kinds of things to get traffic. But I want to show you the day-to-day operation of processing an order. So you're going to log into your dashboard, and there's also a WordPress app that you can get as well, so you can always be in tune to what your store is doing and what kind of sales are coming in. So on the left-hand side, you're just going to select WooCommerce, and if there is an order that's come in, you're going to see a number over here that'll tell you the number of orders that came in, and looks like there's one order here for this example. And this is what it's going to look like. It's going to have their information, one item that they purchased, and you're just going to select the item. And right here you've got all their information. So we've got all their shipping details. So I would copy that information over, and I could put it right on into a notepad file, which I have open here. And we're also going to look at what product did they order. So they ordered the HC101 pet bed, which I'll copy that down. And so now that we've got this information down, along with their phone number, so they've got their phone number, their email, we can actually send an email over to our supplier. So your supplier could take orders multiple ways. One way that they do it is they have a web interface where you just log into the web interface, place an order, they charge you for the wholesale price, and then obviously whatever you sell it for, you get to keep the profit. That's how drop shipping works. So it could be that way where you go into like Pet Stores USA or whoever you're getting the products from, you go into their website and you purchase it through their web interface. Another option is, which is also very common, is you send an email directly to them with the orders for the day. And so with this one order, it's just a matter of going through the name, email, that information, processing the order through, and then contacting the individual, letting them know that their order has gone through. So what you can do here is select processing order and click on save order. And so what's going to happen here now is the order is actually in processing. And we could say completed here under order status, because that means you've had the item sent out. And we'll click on save there. And so now the item has been sent out, and it's something that it will automatically send the customer an email letting them know that you've processed the order, and then that it's also completed, meaning it's been sent out to them, and then they can follow up and get tracking information on their order from you at a later time. So you could email them once you get your tracking info back from your supplier, because after you place your order and they bill you, they're going to contact you back and with the tracking information, and then you simply just open up this order number and send them an email and say, here is your tracking info, thank you for your business, please let us know if there's anything else you can do. The best thing you can do is process these orders right away. The sooner you get to them, the better off you're going to be, and the better customer service you're going to have. It's just like selling on eBay or anywhere else. The quicker you can process the orders, the faster you're going to get repeat business. So that's mainly the day-to-day operations, besides the marketing task, is just processing the orders, adding new products, finding new products that you can inventory, and just scaling your business up and growing your business.